Head School of Humanities and Social Science from Thapar University, Patiala, who will share her knowledge and enlighten us on the various issues related to COVID-19 and the challenges before the Indian education sector. This pandemic has affected education system worldwide, leading to near total closure of school, universities and colleges. Now proceeding further, I would request Professor Neena Sareen, Dean Commerce, to formally introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Ravi Kiran. Over to Professor Neena Sareen.
Neena ma'am, kindly unmute yourself.
Eminent speaker of the day, Dr. Ravi Kiran, Principal Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, my fellow colleagues and dear students, good afternoon to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome Professor Ravi Kiran, Head School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Thapar University of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. She is a renowned personality and is highly experienced in her field. Her areas of specialization are industrial management, human development, and e-business, etc. She is having around 40 papers published in SSCI, SCI, Impact Factor journals, and around 20 papers published in ABDC journals. She has presented around 15 papers in international conference and 70 papers in national conferences. She has also worked on more than 10 research projects. It is an honor to have ma'am with us. As we all know, the COVID-19 pandemic has battered the education system and the world affecting close to 90%, and it is affecting close to 90% of the world population. The education ecosystem of India is facing an even bigger problem. Closure of educational institutions impact not only the students, teachers, and families, but has far-reaching social consequences. The pandemic has created the largest disruption of education system in human history. Today, ma'am is giving her expert views on the topic COVID-19 and the challenges for Indian education sector. Over to ma'am Parminder.
Now I request our head of the family, our worthy principal sir, to formally welcome Dr. Ravi Kiran and share his thoughts on this occasion with our students. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Parminder. Thank you so much. First of all, I take this opportunity to congratulate the Commerce Department and the teachers of Commerce Department for taking this challenge to discuss on this current issue. I extend heartiest welcome to Professor Ravi Kiran, Head School of Humanities and Social Sciences, Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. Welcome, madam. As Thapar is the leading light in technologies in the area, and the topic for today's deliberation is really serious, COVID-19 and challenges for Indian education sector. The word sector, I think, has been used intentionally because it has been organized by the Commerce Department. If I would have to say, I will prefer to say the Indian education system, because whenever I wish to use the word sector, it may be over commercialized. It is my personal thought only, very humbly I wish to say. But coming to the challenges, obviously, the challenge is so grave and the role of technology is so vast that it has grabbed almost everything in the education system and scenario. That is why Our choice of today's speaker is from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology. What we was anticipating, the paradigm shifts in the education system supposed to be occurred in coming 1 decade, suddenly occurred within a year due to COVID close down. This close down has forced us to switch almost totally to the online teaching, to the virtual classes, in the name of those, say, the mixed methodology. But since last March 2020, perhaps we are not able to meet our students in face-to-face mode. So this methodology, this technology, this virtual meets, this virtual classrooms, which was conceived as a tool to reach the unreachables, to reach out to the inaccessible areas, to mitigate the constraints of the quality teachers and the finances. But suddenly we have to take a complete shelter under such technologies. First of all, it's good that all of the education system has not ceased. We find a substitute, at least, if not we find a supplement, if not substitute. And we successfully continued our education to some extent, ranging from reaching to the toddlers for preschool classes to the research scholars through these virtual tools, virtual meets, online conferences, etc., etc., etc. But this range is too vast. So is the diversity required in this system. And moreover, we are a diverse nation. The nation in which accessibility, the net accessibility, the availability of the IT gadgets, it also impacts our nation being a diverse nation. I can recollect that in the month of April last year, we conducted a survey of accessibility and perceptibility of these virtual classes by our over 4,000 students. And it opened my vistas that what type of situations are there in which we are trying to reach out to all of our students. Then again, in the beginning of this year, in the month of January, when there was a notification for the government to meet your classes in offline mode, then again, we conducted a survey with our students that how they perceive, are they ready to come? What are the hurdles, or what is the social response in attending offline classes? Once again, the analysis of data was very interesting. Despite being more than 50% students who have to travel from outside the city, about 60% of the students have to depend upon the public transportation. Despite that fact, more than 2/3 of the students were willing to join offline classes. I took it as an indication that perhaps the students also feel that just a poor supplement in the format of IT or the virtual classes cannot be the complete substitute of this learning system. I very deliberately use the word poor substitute because the college in which we are discussing today, we have to switch over suddenly within few days. Though we successfully arranged the lease line also, we equipped almost all the classrooms with virtual classroom requirement of the hardware for virtual meets. We conducted the workshops and training for whole of our faculty repeatedly in the very first week. Despite that, I consider it as the poor preparation. I consider it as the poor effort to reach out when more than 50% of our students claimed that they don't have their dedicated even mobile phone which they can use for their studies. So in such a diverse nation, having such a diversity of resources, I interacted with so many parents and students who were finding it difficult to pay for the data package with uninterrupted connectivity or supply. These were the issues on one hand, which we are struggling for last 1 year. But the story doesn't stop here only. In these days, I'm worried about the perceptions which are overpowering the socio-psychological scenario of the youth. When we are subjecting them to poorly framed online evaluation system, which almost guarantee them to qualify and pass. Not only this, to achieve maximum marks also, aren't we heading towards a system where idea of failure will be alien for our students within a year or two? Where it will be very difficult for the student to accept and appreciate that we can learn from the failures also. Aren't we subjecting our students to the taste of success and success only? Though as a nation, we are very biased and skewed towards the successes only. To defend my claim, just recollect your days as parents when you were just kid, toddler, start going to schools. We were having only one place in our mind, that was the topper of the class. What about the second, third, fourth, fifth, the percentile? What about that P10 percentile, P90 plus, or say D9 decile? What about that? We as a nation still have to learn to accept the grading, which as a parents or as teachers, perhaps we have to learn, not to talk of the students. But this situation is forcing us towards such a skewed perception where even students are being subjected to this. My concern, my worry is this, that what will be the scenario, say, which we can call post-pandemic scenario, post-lockdown scenario, whether the students will be coming back to some of those normals. Already we have coined a term, the new normals, but what will be the balance between those classic normals, should I say, and the new normals? Or are we ready to shed off all those classic normals at the cost of these new normals? I think the issues are vast, concerns are serious. They have very deep impact, socio-psychological impact, which will be lasting on our youth. And when I say the socio-psychological, they usually are very grave, very grave. And if a society fail to notice them, then Parminder used the word destruction in an education system. I avoid using such word, but even then, are we choosing this, methodology and shift in pedagogies to convert this fear of destructiveness to constructiveness? It is my concern. And it should be the concern of all thinkers who are in education. A news in yesterday's flash frightened me. The impact of socio-psychological impact upon the doctors that due to the non-availability of oxygen, due to the interrupted or the shortage of the, or say, the fizzling out of health system, the doctors are passing through a trauma. They have to help the patients without any support at their hand, to the extent that even they don't have the oxygen cylinder when they require that. And doctors started committing suicide, succumbing to this trauma. Towards which direction we are heading, and towards which direction we are subjecting our youth to. I think the concerns are more grave than just say degree or a grading sheet or just a certification of a course. I think it is the time. Then firstly, we need to defend the certification of being human at least. Then being certified that perhaps we survived from this situation, or we are amongst the list of those who survived from this pandemic. And then how much contributing, how much civic, how much trained we are to contribute to that devastated nation which will be after this pandemic. Obviously, I was emotional while discussing on it. Thank you very much, Dr. Ravi. That is why we chose Thapar Institute, and our faculty zeroed out at your name to find some answers, at least to some questions, because queries and questions are endless. And any debate, any discourse, any deliberation, I personally believe, it opens up, if it opens up questions, then answers obviously will pour out. So once again, welcome to this virtual session. Multani Mal Modi College, students, faculty, I myself, and the management is really indebted to you for sparing your time for our students. Thank you very much. Over to Parminder.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. As sir has told that transitioning from face-to-face learning to online learning can be entirely different experience for the learners and the educators. And he has also shown a concern towards the post-pandemic scenario of the education system, the use of suitable and relevant pedagogy or online learning is the need of the hour, but this brings with it certain bottlenecks and challenges for the various stakeholders. I request you, ma'am, to kindly take our students to the awareness journey of the challenges that come in the way of education sector due to this pandemic. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Parminder. And I would like to thank Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, who had laid a foundation for this lecture that's going to take over. And definitely the questions raised by Dr. Khushvinder Kumar need an answer, because we are passing through a stage which was difficult to visualize. And it was a situation where we had never expected ourselves to be. So this situation has posed a lot of problems, not only as a human being existing in the world, but also as a teacher and the teaching community, which has another duty to perform, to how to relate to our students or pupils, and how to make the education, deliver that education in a better way. And that's the basic purpose, or that's a challenge that we are going to face in the today's topic, which I'm going to discuss with you. I would like to thank Dr. Nina, who's a dean, and she has invited me for this lecture. Entire commerce department, I'm thankful to them. We are all a part of the same community, and in fact, sharing certain ideas definitely would make us more aware of what are the problems generally being faced and how we can try to sort out those problems. But in today's lecture that I'm going to deliver, I'm just going to share some brief short exercises also, which is the main motive, that how we can make the classes more interactive so that the students can think of certain other activities rather than just being a passive listener, that they are in the online teaching. So when we just open up our screens, we see that the face is not visible, and it's the mute screen which is visible, and sometimes we feel that we are talking to a screen, and how should we make ourselves interactive. That's a major challenge that I think being faced by all of the faculty members who are teaching in this situation. But the students also are facing a lot of problems. Sitting in front of the computer from morning till evening and listening, and then maybe how to retain that component, how to keep up with the electricity that goes off and on, and about the internet services. Again, all these could be some of the problems which will be there and which we are facing. Of course, Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, he highlighted upon the use of the term the education as a sector. Being an economist and being in the field of commerce and economics, so many times we relate ourselves to a manufacturing sector, or we say that it's education as a sector we are going to discuss. Definitely education as a system. We need to focus upon the education policy, and we also need to focus upon how or what was the system earlier and what is the problem being faced today. But if we are talking of the education as a sector, as a sector of education may have been an important sector in the services sector and an important contributor in the service sector as well. But definitely, along with that, we also say that there could be certain issues also which could be related with it. So the topic today I'm going to discuss is COVID 2019 and the challenges for the Indian education sector. If we go by the scenario today, I'm going to start off with two quotes I'm most familiar with, and I love these quotations. We go by the Aristotle's quotation: educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And secondly, Albert Einstein, who has said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So today scenario demands us that we don't have to be only knowledgeable, we have to make our students imagine things and find out a solutions to the imagined problems that they have. So this is where we as the teachers will have to perform our duties, so on. The intensity we know of the COVID 2019 has baffled the globe and all the countries across the globe. The numbers are growing. And along with the growing numbers, we also see that the recovery as yet is not visualized. So we had a first wave of COVID 2019 starting from China. And the major countries affected were Italy, later on the European countries, and then
परमिंदर मैम, लगता है मैम का कनेक्शन लॉस्ट हो गया, टेक्निकल प्रॉब्लम करके शायद मैम दोबारा ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं शायद।
Yes, I also think so. She's trying, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Now you're audible.
Yeah. So initially there was some connection problem as well. So as I said, I started off that there are certain challenges which are faced, and we as a community have to think about what could be the solution to these challenges that are there. I started off with a quote from Aristotle and Einstein, where we said that we need to focus upon providing the students with the imagination, which is considered to be more important than knowledge. So, our idea as a teacher is not just to provide them knowledge, but to make them imagine the things and also to find out the solutions to these problems that they may be facing. Then the COVID-19 scenario, as we said, it had impacted the world all over, and major countries saw the major impact of it, starting in China, then moving over to Italy, and later on to European economies. From Europe, we moved over to the impact of COVID was also seen on United States of America, and later on UK, which suffered the second wave also, which was more severe than the first wave. We in India were a little relaxed, but after being a little relaxed, we saw that there was a second wave, and the second wave is considered to be more severe than the first wave. So this COVID-19 has posed us certain problems which we need to think and which we need to ponder over and which we need to provide a solution to in today's scenario. The major impact upon the education system, as we say, is even if we go by the details which are released from the AICTE, we see that 179 professional colleges, including the engineering colleges and business schools, they shut down in India in the academic year 2021. And the reason was the lack of the job opportunities and the lockdown imposed which was due to the coronavirus or COVID 2019. So this impact we can say is one scenario where we say only the survival of the fittest of the institution could be there, because it poses a lot of problems for the institutional organization to arrange for the IT which will be needed for delivering our online education as such, and which, as we also know from Dr. Khushwinder Singh, the principal, who also said that all the teachers had to pass through various training programs so that we could be acquainted with certain ways the online education is going to be delivered, and especially how we can make the education system more interactive. Challenges that are faced in the education system, not especially related with the COVID 2019, is where we know that the student is bearing the burden. And here many times we say that there is a teacher who may be relaxing and the university who is just counting over the money that may be coming from the additional number of students which can join in. But no one knows how much effort goes behind the scene when the teachers have to prepare not only for the lectures but also to go in for video recordings and provide the students with the facilities. So can we say, is the answer there that we have to switch over to the student-centric education, which may be better in or more helpful to tackle with the situation that is prevalent in today's time? The major challenges that we may have to face is the quality education. Quality education especially becomes more severe in terms of the online education, where the teachers have to be trained in the new softwares that are there through which they can go in for delivering the notes or the delivering the lectures and video recording or creating the videos and then sharing with the videos. Access, undoubtedly, the access problem was raised by all of you as well, that how can we talk of the access to all when we have the infrastructural constraints which may be there, along with the social issues which is dealing with the diversity of the population and the diversity of the student population that we have, where the access to internet also could be a problem. Initially, in last year, we had some of the students who had come from Jammu. They say that we have just a 2G network which is available and which is making the delivery of the notes that are being delivered to them through the online education a little difficult to access. So access is a major problem, and cost is going to be high when we are switching over to the providing more infrastructural facilities, because we never thought that we need to invest in this type of fund as well. We kept on creating more infrastructure, labs, physical infrastructure was there. The IT infrastructure, we focused upon the IT labs, etc., but we never thought that we need to focus more upon the IT infrastructure to provide more facilities which can help in creating studios where the online lectures could be recorded, the studios where the all type of the noise could not be playing a dominant part, and we could record and have a better lecture delivery as such. Of course, sharing some other cartoon with you. These are the challenges where we say the educational institutions are facing the exceeding budget because of the staff, exceeding staff, budget because of the facilities that need to be provided, budget because of the admissions that we are having, budget also because of the other arrangements, that is the marketing, and all of us have now the educational institutes have the Facebook and the social networking accounts where we try to reach the student community and the other communities through that. If we go by the latest education policy, there has been a lot of focus that need to be shifted to the research as well. So quality research is a major component which need to be focused upon. It's not just the research in terms of the number of the PhD degrees that we have, but it's the research to excel in terms of the topic that you have worked upon, so that the topic has a relevance for the community that we are working upon. So research centers have to think of the research topics which are more related with the practical problems. A practical problem which is faced by India may be different from a practical research problem that may be faced by other economies across the globe. The other challenges that we have are that we have 300 languages which are spoken in the country, and of course the ethnic diversity also poses a challenge, that how to deliver this. Do I deliver it through the particular language, and if it is a regional language which has to be focused upon, then how can we relate it with that particular language as such? Online education system, it has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages, which may be especially in keeping with the time. How do we go in for the budget which is more affordable as compared with the time that we have? The higher education challenges also will mean that the online education system is here to stay. The US, UK, Canada, China, all these countries we know have been badly impacted by education, and the higher educational institutions have to think of how to deal with these higher education challenges that may be faced. Moreover, there is also a scenario for no or low job offers, and whichever companies gave the jobs also, the job offers were then later on taken over as well, or the jobs were switched over to next time period to join the organization. So this is another important challenge. We all know that learning, e-learning is here to stay. So we may have to go in for redesigning the course content. We'll have to switch over or shift from the traditional pedagogies that we have, and e-learning is a shift from face-to-face learning. So what is a solution that may be existing in today's scenario? We talk of the shift that is happening from the Gurukuls to the e-Gurukuls. So earlier we were only focusing upon the classroom learning, then the online learning, but maybe the best option is we'll have to switch over to the blending learning, which may be a mix of the classroom learning and the online learning. Blended learning means that we need to have the access to the internet, we need to have interactive web. Although blended learning will be not a perfect blend of face-to-face learning activities, so we need to have interaction of the face-to-face learning with the online learning that we can share. This I'm going to share through certain activities that I'm going to have. So blended learning will make us move over or take equal ownership of the best practices that redefine the teaching and the learning scenario. And teachers and students will need to work collaboratively here, and educational institutions would have to move over and continue to implement the disruptive technologies, or will have to move over to the new innovative technologies to lead to personalizing the learning activities for all the students. Blended learning is where will be a mix of the classroom activities. Classroom activities are more motivating. They have a personal interaction. It is going to be more relevant. We can off and on keep on asking the question. The rigor is there and the discipline is there. E-learning has its advantages that it has freely mobile. Now I'm sitting at one place and I can deliver the talk to others who may be sitting far off from me. Then the 24/7 access will also be there, but of course we'll have to have the learning management system through which these could be delivered. It also means that e-learning may be that at reduced cost, I'll be able to reach a vast number of people, but e-learning needs a focus more upon the self-study. And if we switch over to blended learning, we can have a mix or the advantage of both the classroom learning as well as the e-learning activities. So combining the best, we can say it's just not the teacher-led learning, it's the online learning. The blended learning could have a blend of the teacher and a student-based learning. It could also be a blend of the technology and student-teacher interface as well, which may be there. There are a lot of software which are available to create the online lectures, which could be in the form of the Adobe Presenter, which helps us in making our PPTs or videos more interactive. Then we have Camtasia. We also have Microsoft Expressions, Powtoon, animated videos which can be used, and we of course the science students can basically know more about the equipment if we have the voiceover software with us. I would like to focus upon, so this is the offline teaching where we have access to all the system that we have, and this is the online system where we are talking of the students who are just available through the net services, and that too physically I may not be able to interact more with you because I may be unaware of you, and you also may be a little hesitant to ask the question. What can play a dominant part in this scenario is where we focus upon the reflective learning. Are you aware of reflective learning? Any one of you? Yes, any student? Are you aware of reflective learning? I think I'll ask the question towards the end. And naturally, we as teachers and we as students need to reflect upon our teaching or learning. So the basic technique here is learning, unlearning, and relearning, and think of the new innovative ways that I will go in for reflection to review the lecture that I have attended. I would go in for reflective learning to understand how much I have gained from the experience. So if we take a few moments and try to reflect upon whatever we have learned through writing it or through expressing it in a reflective diary, that will help us in emerging out from the major problems that we may be facing in case of the online learning scenario as well. Another way we can go in and step is that we can use a number of activities which will include in the analytical method of teaching, which could be not just giving the individual assignment, but going in for group assignment activities, having a brainstorming session or debates where the students can come out with the problem. So after 5 online lectures, we can have a brainstorming session where all that has been covered in the earlier lectures can be discussed and the students' problems can be taken over. And similarly, we can also embed our online lectures through the case study activities that may be introduced in our online lessons as such. I often use the cartoons, which could be a very effective way of conveying or covering the challenge that is faced in the online activities. Come out with a cartoon and ask the students to provide what is there in the cartoon. Can you see this? Can some of the students give me an answer to this? What do they see in this cartoon? Dr. Parminder, can some of the students provide an answer to this?
Students can answer in chat box.
What do you see in this cartoon? Can I teach elasticity of demand through this cartoon? Can you put your answers in the chat box? What do you see? There's one figure and this is another figure. The ticket rate is 10 and the revenue collected is 10,000. The ticket rate is 14. The revenue collected is 13,160. Yes, anyone? Yes, Kanchan, you are speaking.
आ रहा है बच्चे
मैम इसमें तो ऐसे दिखाते हैं कि मतलब जिस ट्रेन की प्राइस कम है वो उस अफोर्डेबल है उस पर्सन के लिए।
Or if the train ticket increases, then the person thinks that still I have to take the train.
मैम अगर उसके पास मतलब कि प्राइस इंक्रीज हो जाते हैं तो वो सोचता है कि मैं कोई और ऑप्शन यूज करूं।
But since train is a basic, okay, I've got one answer from someone in the chat box. The man would like to go for ₹10 as he finds that it's more cheap. But since the other option may not be available, a cheaper option. So even if the ticket increases from 10 to 14 rupees, the option available for the person may be very less. Still, he says he will have to go by the train. This makes the train going by train or train is the inelastic demand. So this is a demand where we say that the topic of elasticity especially can be taught when we are going in a situation where we say that do we have a closer substitute of this product. So many times what we may have seen is that I have one of the answers in the chat box where it is said that there could be the alternatives which are available. But since train tickets still may be cheaper, so the other alternatives we will not be thinking or switching over to. Then we have another way of teaching. That means if we are taking a commerce and we want the student to come out with a business plan, they can put it in the form of a plan, and a business plan is the best way. We can learn more about the business. The business plan can tell you about the key activities, what is the problem being faced, and how that problem could be solved by your business that you are planning to set up. Like this is a case of a Bhumi plan, which is a fertilizer, a biofertilizer form. So if we say that the chemical fertilizers are very harmful, so we can ask the business students to come out and put out a situation and create their own business plan. And if we go in and switch over to these type of online activities, it will make the classes more interactive. And the challenge that is faced by the students, as initially I said, is that you have to make them more creative, you have to make them more interactive. So many times I give the students a problem and ask them to come out with a cartoon to provide a solution to the problem. So that makes them memorize the concept also in a better way. And this is how sometimes by certain creative activities that we can involve in our lectures can make the interactions more strong between the student and the teacher. Another is that all of you may have seen the Barbie doll, but no one knows that what was the concept behind which Barbie was created. Almost all the girls in their young age may have played with the Barbie. But initially, what was the concept of the dolls? We all used to play with the cabbage dolls, which were the childlike dolls. So from the childlike dolls, the Leo Toys came out with the concept of a teenage doll. And when they were coming out with the concept of the teenage doll, no one thought that the teenage doll could be a success. But still, the shift from the cabbage doll to Barbie tells us that it has been 6 decades and still Barbie is existing in the toy industry. So small innovation or a small innovation that we can introduce in our teaching methodologies by involving a case-based analysis can also make the students more interactive in the class, and they can learn more, as well as they will be able to interact in a better way. Another way is that when we can introduce the concept of the flipped classroom. Flipped classroom means that we share the students the material in advance, and once the material is shared with the students, then the students are coming out with the solution to that in the class, and the class becomes more of a discussion oriented class. So this could be another way we can have more interactions or reduce the challenge, or and move over to the student based interactions in the class. Maybe many of you have thought of 5 whys. This is another problem solving way or providing a solution. This 5 whys method was initially used by Toyota Production System. It was developed by Sakshi Toyota, and this is often used. So in a way it says that if you ask yourself 5 whys, you will always come out and find a solution to the problem. Like the problem here is ran through a red light. So the first why is why did he then run through the red light? He was late for work. Why was he late for work? Because he woke up late. Why did he wake up late? Because the alarm clock broke. Why did the alarm clock broke? Because he did not check whether it worked or not. And why did it happen? Because he forgot to do it last night. So this many times, if we ask the question of 5 whys, we'll be able to find a solution to the problem. So any class we can put it in the end that we ask them to go in for the 5 whys and find out what could be the solution that they are advocating for this problem that is existing. So this is a cause, the way we find out the cause for the problem, the 5 why technique can be used. So this can also make the challenge of reducing the interactivity and that is lacking in the class and the online classes that may be there. Similarly, if we talk of the problem, there is an increase in the air pollution. Why is there an increase in the air pollution? Because there is more smoke. Why is there more smoke? Because there are more vehicles. Why are there more vehicles? Because there's no public transport. Why is there no public transport? Because there are narrow roads. Why are there narrow roads? That means the city architecture did not take long-term perspective. So this is how sometimes an initial problem that we have, the students can also keep on using the technique of 5 whys and just come out with a solution to the problem that may be there. Have you heard of the story of the rabbit and the tortoise?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So initially the race starts between the rabbit and the tortoise, and we all know that the rabbit sleeps. So who wins the race?
Tortoise.
Tortoise. Why did he? What is the motto or moral of the story?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race. Let us twist the story and we will see that how these strategies can matter. So in the online classes, you will have to come out with the new strategies that may be there. Now we again say that the race starts between the rabbit and the tortoise, but this time we say that the rabbit does not sleep. Now who will win the race?
Rabbit.
The rabbit, of course. So the moral now will be switching over from slow and steady to fast and swift wins the race. So if we change a strategy And there will be a change in the winner of the race as well. Let us twist it a little more. In the strategy, we again say that the race starts between a rabbit and a tortoise, but this time we see that we introduce a river after a land in the race. Now, who will win the race?
Tortoise.
The tortoise, because the rabbit cannot swim across the river. So of course now introducing something, a new strategy in the form of a river will be making a tortoise again win the race. So that means if you introduce a new strategy, one who is skilled in that strategy will be emerging as the winner of the race. Let us again twist this, and the race again starts between the rabbit and the tortoise. But here we say that there is some sort of collaboration which is feasible between the rabbit and the tortoise. The rabbit carries the tortoise on the back at land, and the tortoise carries the hare on its back in the river. Naturally, the fourth strategy and the collaboration that could be feasible between the rabbit and the tortoise helps complete the race in the minimum span of time, and also it will help us in equipping us with the skills that may be needed to be a winner in today's scenario. So in online teaching, of course, we will always think of strategies. Can you please put the mic on mute phone? There's some noise. Please mute your mic. So in this case, we will see that shift in the strategy. There will be a shift in the skills that will also be needed for coming out and emerging winner in the race. So this again we can say could be another way to emerge as a winner. Certain other games can also be introduced in the online mode. One game that is initiated, which is a game to enhance the leadership as well as to know about the information, how you can translate the information in the form of knowledge, and you can also provide a solution. It's a desert survival activity that we often take. So it's a Saturday and it's 1 p.m., completely hot. There was a plane which was flying, and after the plane was flying, there was some problem which was faced in the plane. Just 10 minutes before the flight was going to be over, there is a loud blast which is seen, and the plane just nosedived. And within the minutes we see that there was this crash, but of course there was the plane crash, and the activity is that the plane crash, you have these 12 things that you have with you. Now, if you are to list them in the way of priority with the problem that is there, it's May, that is extreme hot. The plane is crash landed in Africa, and the nearest habitation is 30 kilometers away, and the nearest airport is 50 kilometers away. The persons on the plane are just wearing very light clothes, and you have these 12 items that you have to list in the terms of priority. Can I know your priorities? Put your answers in the chat box. What could be the first priority? You are wearing light. First one priority has come out as a first aid box, and another is a water bottle. First aid box and water bottle. Okay, most of you say water bottle. So maybe you are thinking that we have landed in a desert and the only option available with us will be to have a water bottle. So this is the most frequented answer that I have had from all of you. Maybe many of you are saying water bottle or this, but there are few who are saying that what should be second on priority? Where do you put salt tablets? Second should be first aid. Air map, some are saying is the second one. Water bottle is the first one. Why air map? Have you seen old movies? Where do you place a small cosmetic mirror? What is it used for? To find air map to find the direction, but what could the mirror be used for? Use it as a signal. So if we go by the scenario, so we will have to think that do I need salt tablets? Salt tablets only will be needed if you have to walk. And we say that the nearest air station is 30 kilometers and the nearest place where people are living is 40 kilometers. So you will not be able to walk because walking is not a solution. So many times such activities can make the persons more interactive in the class. And you can think of, and where do you place a quart of vodka? A raincoat, a knife, a parachute. Let me just share with you the solution to this problem. The first is a small cosmetic mirror. Many times, as I said, walking is not the solution. Since walking is not the solution and the air map could only be useful when you travel. So air map also is not going to be useful. So we place cosmetic mirror at place 1 because we will have to seek the help that could be required. And air map would be placed last of all. Second is the raincoat because you are all wearing very light clothes and the sun is a scorching heat. So first of all, you will have to protect your body from the sun. So that will where the raincoat will be used. Third, of course, it's the water bottle. Water will be needed because you have to need it. Maybe a few drops of water would help you to quench your thirst and to make you survive. Red and white parachute would be needed to create a tent where you can rest for some time. The first aid box would be needed in case some injury is there. Since we are told that no one is seriously injured, this may not be a problem. And similarly, the sixth one is the knife will be there to have some edible plants which we can eat, and aloe vera and some edible plants could be used for having, and this could be only used with a knife. .45 caliber pistol will be needed to keep the animals because it may be evening, to keep them at bay. This will be needed. Since you have to last for more than a day, you may need to go in a book on edible animals so that you can eat something to survive. Then the ninth one is the quart of vodka, which will not have much significance in the initial 5 categories. The 10th one is the salt tablets, which as I said, would only be used if you start walking. And the 11th would be the magnetic compass, which again is used to find the direction. But here, direction and walking is not the solution. So many times when we undertake such activities in the online classes also, where we often say that online classes we face less of interaction between the students. So you can ask the students to come out with the answers to the chat box to make the discussions more interactive and to also create responsiveness amongst the students. So these are some of the interactive activities which can be undertaken to face the challenge that we are basically facing in online education, where we see that the students are less interactive. Teachers have to think of more of undertaking such activities to find a solution to the problem. Of course, I would like to wind up by sharing a small caselet with you. Maybe no one of you have thought of that even a car could be allergic to vanilla ice cream. This is a caselet of a Pontiac car, which was a General Motors car. And this car, what happened was that there was a car complaint received by the Pontiac related with the Pontiac cars and the GM General Motors, that whenever the customer went in to have a vanilla ice cream, his car would not start. But whenever he had any other brand of ice cream, the car would start in time. So no one thought that this could have led to a new innovation. So of course GM did not take this complaint lightly, and they attached one engineer to travel with the customer and have ice cream. So the engineer returned for 3 more nights. First day, the customer had vanilla ice cream. The car did not start. So he accompanied the customer for another 3 nights. The first night, the customer got chocolate. The car started. The next night, he got a strawberry ice cream. The car again started. But the third night again, he ordered the vanilla ice cream and the car failed to start. Now the engineer, being a logical man, he began to take the notes. He jotted down all sorts of data, the time of the day, the type of the gas used, the time to drive back and forth. So here later on it was felt that whenever the customer went to have a vanilla ice cream, the queue for the vanilla was longer one, and it took him more time to get the vanilla ice cream. So there was a vapor lock which could make the car not start in time. So this led to the innovation in the Pontiac car, and the vapor lock car facility problem was solved through a small complaint which was filed by a customer. So it suggests us that never ignore a customer's complaint. So undertaking these small activities in the class can make the classes more interactive, and the challenges that we face in the education could be may be solved in a better way, especially when we are undertaking these activities. Of course, I would like to stop here, where we say that certain problems can be solved. We all say that there is a problem of the educational sector where a lot of institutions are closing down. There is a Supreme Court ruling that has come that we need to charge low if we are offering the online classes only. But related with it is the problems of the organizations, where they say that they have to use a lot of software, a lot of infrastructure, which is very, very expensive. So if it is an expensive infrastructure which we need to buy, which we need to deal with to make these classes interactive, how can we think of making the fee less, or how are the educational institutions going to tackle with this particular problem. But of course, some of the issues which can be used to make the classes more interactive, I've shared with you that these are certain activities which can be undertaken in the classes to make the classrooms more interactive, and to have more discussions in the classroom that may be there. Now I'm open for questions. If you have any questions.
Any of you is having any question, he or she may ask. Ma'am, I think you have explained in a very simplified way, so they are not having any questions as such.
Okay. Actually, we cannot provide a solution to the problem that we may be facing, but definitely it's a time. COVID time is a time when all of us have to sit together and provide a solution to the problems which are faced. And another thing that I can suggest is maybe the students who are more responsive, they can have more discussion by making the learning easier for the students who are facing more problems as such.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ma'am, your valuable and experienced inputs are surely going to help our students. You have taught various ways to make our classes more interactive and interesting. Firstly, you highlighted about the challenges in online due to COVID on our education system, such as the quality, which is affecting a lot, accessibility, to all segments of society, cost effectiveness, social and cultural factors because of ethnic diversity, low job profiles is an employment challenge, and the outcomes that you have explained is to redesign the curriculum, shift from traditional learning to blended learning, and you have also made us aware about the flipped classroom. You have discussed about various softwares, though some of our teachers are using those, Camtasia, Powtoons. You have very elaborately explained with the help of Powtoons the elasticity of demand to our students. You have told the student that every problem they are facing, they can ask 5 whys, that why it is happening. If you are getting an answer to it, you can get the solution to your problem. You have discussed about the strategies of collaboration with your very story that we used to listen from our childhood days, but in a very different manner, that it is the time of collaborating so that the time taken is minimum, and desert survival activity, which I have explained, which helped us to prioritize the things. Thank you so much, ma'am. I deem it as a privilege to thank Professor Ravi Kiran on behalf of management and principal of the college. Ma'am, we all understand the time constraint you must have faced to rearrange your schedule to create a space for this expert talk. We are all thankful for acceding to our request. We shall remain indebted to you for this gesture. We must express our gratitude to our principal, Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, for visualizing and planning this lecture. We must not miss to appreciate the effort of Professor Neena Sareen, Dean Commerce, for arranging this expert talk and taking personal interest by which our students are surely benefited a lot. Professor Rohit Sachdeva footprints are always seen through the quality and aesthetic value he adds to the flyer you all see in every function organized by all department of our college and his technical assistants. At the end, I'm thankful to one and all present on this virtual platform for their patient listening. Thank you, ma'am, once again. Thank you so much.
Parminder
Thank
ma'am,
you, Dr.
Parminder ma'am, one
Ending, I would like to tell that there is a feedback form in the chat box. All the students are requested to fill it before leaving this meeting.
ma'am, kindly request to the students to put on your videos for the group photograph.
Teachers भी open करो. Video.
See, ma'am, you can see in the comment section that every student is thanking you from the core of heart.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks to all the students who have been interactive and participative also in the lecture. And I would like to convey the gratitude to the teachers, especially put in the effort to make these students interactive also and learn more. It's a group activity where we all can learn from each other. Thank you, Dr. Parminder. Thank you, Dr. Neena, for the wonderful interaction that we have had with each other. Of course, I learned
Thank
a
you,
lot
ma'am.
from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We shared
It's our
nothing
pleasure
that
to.
I have. And I would like to thank Dr. Khushvinder Kumar, the principal of Modi College, and he wonderfully opened the scenario, and where we talk of education as a system or education as a sector, but the problems many times which will be faced by the education system are sometimes the problems which we need to ponder and which we need to find a solution to. Thanks to all.
See, ma'am, thanks are
Thanks a
for
lot,
the
ma'am.
students. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Neena ma'am, can you close the meeting now?
Yeah, you can close the meeting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, bye-bye.